have that explosion, there will be almost no choice left for the leadership of the country than to ask all of us to go back into our homes.
Abide by regulations or go back to total lockdown. Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 warns Nigerians. Social distancing thrown to the wind on day one of easing lockdown in major cities. Hello and a warm welcome to the network news, reaching you on the network service of the NTA. I am Kano Ima Abonike. Reading with me tonight is Jennifer Igwe in Lagos and Jenny Bassi from Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari this Monday participated at an online summit by the Non-Aligned Movement, where heads of governments of the movement are of the view that national, regional and global strategies would be required to tackle the pandemic. State House correspondent Jide Onefade reports that President Buhari at the summit assures that his administration will intensify efforts to curb community spread of the virus in Nigeria.
The coronavirus is a phenomenon that needs global efforts to solve. That's how these leaders view the pandemic, which they say has caused irreparable loss, ravaged humanity, and caused unprecedented devastation to the well-being of people, their livelihoods, and global economy. They expressed efforts of individual nations to curb the spread, but as President Muhammadu Buhari observes, it is evident that no nation can independently and single-handedly tackle the pandemic.
We must therefore form a united front against this common enemy by being coordinated and timely in our response. Furthermore, we must all encourage and empower our scientists and medical experts to join the quest for a vaccine and cure to this universal plague. In addition, we must acknowledge the central role of the United Nations and the World Health Organization in fighting the pandemic. It is therefore essential to fully collaborate and support their initiatives in coordinating the international fight against the pandemic. Such efforts should include the protection of our medical workers, the provision of medical supplies, especially test kits, and ultimately finding a vaccine to cure the disease.
The president says the task before the international community remains daunting and more needs to be done to reduce the impact of COVID-19.
In the spirit of solidarity, we must collectively appeal to international financial institutions to assist member states in cushioning the negative impact of the pandemic. In this regard, I urge them to extend concessional loans, technical assistance support, lowering of tariff on medical equipment and consumables, sharing of exercise in case management, adopting open trade policies, as well as outright debt cancellation to our member countries.
We must ensure that an effective response to COVID-19 reaches everyone, everywhere, and at a quality basis.
Exchange of medical experts and the expertise gained in the fight against the virus, sharing of information and scientific knowledge, as well as extending assistance to the countries in need, is of utmost importance.
President of the United Nations General Assembly, Tijani Muhammad Bande, pledged that his office would continue to work with the non-aligned movement to promote partnerships and galvanize the needed engagement to defeat COVID-19 and reduce its impact on communities. The theme of the extraordinary summit is United Against COVID-19 Pandemic. In the State House, Jide Onefade, NTA News.
Coronavirus lockdown restrictions are easing across the globe as governments move to the next phase of their response to the pandemic. Joyce Ometu gives us a global update on COVID-19.
The Nigeria's Center for Disease Control and CDC has confirmed 170 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. A breakdown indicates that Lagos has 39 cases, Kano 29, Ogun 24, Bauchi 18, Kaduna 15, the Federal Capital Territory and Sokoto 12 cases each, Katsina 8, Borno 7, Nasarawa 3, Adamawa 2, and Oyo 1. As at 12 a.m. 4th of May, Nigeria has 2,558 confirmed cases, out of which 400 have recovered, while 87 have died. In Africa, authorities began relaxing coronavirus lockdown measures as a tally by Worldometer as at 6 p.m. shows that the continent has reported 45,777 COVID-19 infections, 1,810 deaths, and 15,400 recoveries. The European Union has pledged 1 billion euros for the global search for a vaccine and treatment of coronavirus. Meanwhile, records by Johns Hopkins University as at 6 p.m. show that the number of confirmed cases of coronavirus worldwide is 3,595,306, with a death toll of 249,223, and over 1 million people have recovered. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that as many as 100,000 people could die of coronavirus in the United States. The country so far has recorded 68,715 fatalities and 1,192,216 confirmed infections. New Zealand reported no new case of coronavirus on Monday, marking the first time the country recorded 0 new cases since its outbreak in mid-March. And Italy is easing its COVID-19 restrictions nearly 2 months after becoming the first country to impose a strict national lockdown. Iran has allowed the reopening of mosques in 132 cities that have been consistently free of the coronavirus. The capital, Tehran, is excluded. However, it is a different story in Japan as the country's prime minister extended its state of emergency until the end of May. And that's it from here. Many thanks for staying. I am Joyce Ometu.
In the meantime, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has warned Nigerians that relaxation of the 5-week lockdown could be reverted if its guidelines are not strictly adhered to. Chairman of the task force, Bose Mustafa, says this warning has become necessary following observations of clear breaches of PTF's guidelines on day 1 of easing the lockdown. Retired Ben brings us that report.
Preliminary reports.
This bold inscription on the podium at this PTF briefing is one of the guidelines not completely adhered to by Nigerians on the first day after the 5-week lockdown. Other noticeable violations, according to the task force, were lack of social distancing in public places and continued interstate movements despite the ban in place.
The chaotic scenes around the banks and other financial institutions indicate that there is observable high level of breaches by the citizens. The PTF fully understands the desire of Nigerians to come out, to continue their lives after 5 weeks of lockdown. State governments and security agencies have, however, been advised to enforce the measures rigidly, and violators will be prosecuted.
On the part of the banks, we've also resolved that we are going to encourage the banks to restock their ATM machines so that unless you have really need to be physically present at banks, you don't need to be there.
Yes, we might have a few extra infections today and tomorrow, but what we don't want is an explosion of new infections. If we do have that explosion, there will be almost no choice left for the leadership of the country than to ask all of us to go back into our homes.
The task force has continued to strengthen the capacity of the Kano state government to respond to the pandemic in the state.
The Federal Ministry of Health pathologist is also participating in the investigation of the unexplained deaths that were reported.
We have also mobilized 3,300 informants through the WHO polio program for a house-to-house search, and will be commencing a 7-day motorized campaign across major urban areas in Kano.
With about 4,000 Nigerians abroad interested in returning home, the Minister of Foreign Affairs says evacuation is set to commence.
The first flight that we hope by God's grace to have on Wednesday, Emirates, their flight from Dubai will be to Lagos.
Also, we are initiating a program of decontaminating and disinfecting our schools before they open.
Meanwhile, schools as well as places of worship are to remain closed. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And as the partial ease of lockdown commences in Abuja, Kenneth Nanim has a report on the situation in the FCT.
Abuja is back to life after 5 weeks of lockdown, and the residents, like birds out of a nest, flood the streets. Yes, but this partial ease-up comes with a price. Get your weapons for the virus, that is wearing of face masks and social distancing. So, the security is on check for compliance. This, of course, leads to gridlock and not lockdown this time.
We are supposed to go out and come back by 2 o'clock. And now, if one spends all this time on the road and they have not even reached the office, then yes, to a certain extent, the purpose may have been defeated.
The roads are busy, but major markets and plazas are still wearing the bad locks in their gates because they are to open only on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
They told us that all of us should go back home. They are not going to open the market. They still lock the market. They say we're not going to enter. Say no until on Wednesday.
As it stands, the one we've been saving, that's the one we've been eating now, and there's no income coming in, and so everybody's tired staying at home.
While they focus attention now on the establishment of what we call neighborhood selling point that will take off pressure from markets such as this.
The crowd that we are seeing here, it's not expected of us to come out, but we don't have any option because some of us, by staying home, we are automatically losing our jobs. You can see all shops here are locked. The law enforcement agencies, they don't want us to open because of the crowd.
During the lockdown, it wasn't easy, really. But what people did not really know, the lockdown really helped. I even still hoping that they should still extend it little in order to reduce the virus.
Not a campaign ground here, but survival of the strongest, as it were, at ATM points and banking premises, because everyone tries to beat the 8 to 2 p.m. deadline in the banking hall.
When we saw what was happening, how people have gathered, we suggest very innovative ideas to them. We say all of us are not here to collect our money. Give us, some of us, those who want to transfer, give us form. When we don't feel it, we give it to you anytime and at your own will. You do the transfer. They said no, they will not do that. They prefer us clustering together.
All of us are outside stranded. So we don't know what is happening. We are calling on government to intervene. Ask them, the government should tell them that they should open all the branches.
From what I'm seeing now, maybe 2 weeks' time, I believe things will normalize.
In all, the level of compliance on wearing of face masks was on the average because all the centers make provision for washing of hands, but social distancing still left much to be desired. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now, commercial activities have resumed in Kano following the partial relaxation of the presidential lockdown order to contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in the state. Elizabeth Yela Lamido went round the metropolis and reports on the happenings in the state and the level of adherence to the COVID-19 preventive measures.
This is the 8th day out of the 2 weeks presidential lockdown order in Kano, issued to stem rising cases of coronavirus pandemic. The lockdown was relaxed to allow residents stock up for the days ahead. Business activities have taken off in and around the metropolis, with only 2 markets, Yankaba and Enlemu, out of several allowed to operate.
The market is good and fine, but the price does not go high. Some of them that they come from Bauchi, from Katsina, or from Zaria. So they bring different type of food items.
The price is very low, seeing that, when the supply is high, as you have seen it, the price must be low.
Also, most of the banks visited were not in operation. People were, however, seen at the ATM making transactions. The town was also crowded with vehicular movement, as well as roadside vendors making brisk business. Though it is noticed that social distancing and the compulsory use of the face mask were not observed, as people go about their businesses unmindful of the consequences.
I don't have face masks now because I forget my own at home.
Yes, I have it, but I leave it inside car.
I don't have gaskia.
Meanwhile, the state lockdown relaxation order is to be observed every Monday and Thursday, 10 to 4 p.m. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
We pause for some messages. The news continues after this timeout. Stay tuned.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
You've seen me promote Lifebuoy soap. But today, I urge you to use whichever soap that is nearest to you, because washing hands with soap helps to fight the coronavirus. This is a public service announcement from Lifebuoy.
This is to say a big thank you to all the healthcare workers who put their lives on the line, working in all the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially Lagos, Kano, Ogun, and Abuja, to ensure that we beat COVID-19 in the least possible time. Thank you so much. You are our superheroes. This message is from the Governor's Wives Forum, the wife of the Vice President and the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Today on Happy Clean Nigeria Mission, we visit Mrs. Johnson live in Lagos. Helen Paul! Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission? Yes, but how? Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean? I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years. Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To clean your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for stains in the toilet. Harpic Tick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach. Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul. Really? Yeah. Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
My neighbor Casey and I, we gel perfectly. We support the same club. Our taste in music, totally in sync. But there's one area where we differ. Casey loves his peak filled milk because it is low in cholesterol. I, on the other hand, I love my peak full cream milk because it is rich and creamy. So, choose your peak today.
Peak. Reach for your peak.
Action. Make your home the place to be with GoTV's super cool kids channels. That sounds fun. From funky friends that'll keep even the little ones busy. Alright, everybody, let's do this! To learn as you watch educational shows for curious young minds. You can do some amazing things.
There's plenty for everyone. Tune in to our kids shows and get everything you need to keep the kids entertained and learning the fun way. Go TV, live it, love it.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Welcome back. In a bid to contain COVID-19 and cushion its effects in the face of economic realities, the North-East Development Commission has presented palliatives in form of food and medical equipment to Adamawa state government. Yusuf Jika has the details.
The items shared to help fight COVID-19 and palliatives to cushion its effect include 4 well-equipped ambulance, 200 infrared thermometer, 50 beds, hand gloves, face masks, 10,000 bag of rice, 900 bag of maize, 1,700 cartons of macaroni, vegetables, among others. Head of North-East Development Commission delegation to Adamawa State, Yerima Gashi, said NEDC is concerned with the predicaments and hardship posed by the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic, hence the need for the provision of the items to ease the difficulties being faced by the people.
Ordinary face mask, we give you 500 packets. Temporary, we have given you 2 pieces. Hand gloves, we have given you 400 pieces. White hand sanitizers, we have given you 400 pieces.
Receiving the items, Deputy Governor Adamawa State Crowdesef, who expressed appreciation to the Commission, said it will be adequately used for the purpose intended.
We assure all the citizens of Adamawa State that the government of Adamawa State will ensure transparency and fairness in the process of distribution of these items to the people.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
To support the federal government's quest in meeting the yearnings of the most vulnerable Nigerians in the face of the coronavirus pandemic, the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, has donated some palliatives to Nigerians across the geopolitical zones. During the year, reports.
Pictures that speak volumes. This is courtesy of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, through the Minister of Special Duties, Senator George Akume. Items distributed were foodstuffs and instructional posters in the 3 major languages to guide against community transmission of the coronavirus.
It is to ensure that as much as possible, those who are infected do not transmit this to other people. And working collectively, awareness on the side, on the part of all of us, these things will continue to flow to where they're intended to be used.
National President of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Kolade David Alabi, in a message appealed to the federal government and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to engage local governments and area councils in the country to ramp up more results in the fight against the disease.
These are called lunch boxes, and to individual families that we're trying to reach out. And this may not be enough, this may not be much, but I think it should be able to drive the process and open the window where a lot of individual and companies and probably even the federal government, if they will, to partner and see how we can reach out to more families.
It just is like troubleshooting. Kickstart so that you draw attention and everybody keys in. Not necessarily the federal government, not necessarily the presidential task force, but individual philanthropists.
The Association of Local Governments of Nigeria appeals for the provision of more test kits and hand sanitizers as it appreciates the role of traditional and religious institutions and health workers in curtailing the spread of the coronavirus. In Abuja, doing Dia NTA News.
The Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, NOOC, in collaboration with other players in the industry, is set to build a 150 to 200 bed capacity medical facility in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. At the groundbreaking ceremony at Imogene, Yenagoa, Managing Director of NOOC, Mr. Lorenzo Fiorillo, said that the facility is part of intervention against COVID-19 by the operators in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. Aya Prezi reports.
The proposed medical facility is a concerted initiative of oil and gas industry players towards meeting the health needs of the people of the South-South region.
This project will be executed in line with the highest of standards obtainable within the health sector anywhere in the world.
Minister of State for Education, Mr. Chukwuemeka Iwanjoba, representing Chairman, Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, and Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, among others, observed that the choice of Bayelsa for the project is strategic because the state remains in history at the first place where oil was discovered in commercial quantity.
These healthcare structures will be replicated in the geopolitical zones of our country within the coming weeks, in line with the mandate of the Presidential Task Force.
This event is an important one, as it puts the nation's oil and gas industry in a good stead to bequeath a sustainable impact and legacy on our healthcare delivery system in the South-South region, long after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Governor of Bayelsa State Senator Doyetri described the groundbreaking event as significant and reflective of the need for cooperation among industry players towards delivering their corporate social responsibility to the society.
So the timing of this event, when the dynamics have altered, is most welcome. It emphasizes the point that we have a shared responsibility in combating these unseen adversaries.
In Yenagoa, Aya Prezi, NTA News.
Now, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has called on the President and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to intervene to curb the rising cases of the pandemic in the state. Governor Tambuwal made the appeal in a state broadcast on measures against the spread of COVID-19 in the state. The report is coming in a subsequent bulletin. It's time now to join Jennifer in Lagos for more reports.
As the ease of lockdown begins in Lagos State is relatively achieving its aim of creating an environment devoid of usual cluster of people and activities. Amakawo has the report.
The ease of lockdown is a relief to many Lagosians who are willing to comply with the guidelines put in place by the state government to contain coronavirus.
I will come out in the afternoon because of the normally come out towards the evening start. When they will close 4, I will resume my business 5.
For me, I will be here up to 4 o'clock before I go home because of the curfew.
We cited long queues at bank premises and noticed a high level of compliance with the use of face masks.
I'm happy today to come outside.
Many transporters and commercial drivers are also doing more to adhere to the rules.
Before, now 7 passengers, 3 for back, 3 for middle, 1 for front. But now, 5.
2 for back, 2 for middle, 1 for back.
However, the black sheep among them could not escape the wrath of enforcement agencies.
When we got there, they said we should come down, that they're loading 2-2. But why then the men are loading 3-4-4?
Officials of the Lagos State Transport Management Authority and the Nigerian Police Force are on ground to ensure that citizens and transporters, especially commercial drivers, adhere strictly to the stipulated guidelines put in place by the Lagos State government. The partial lockdown will no doubt impact the economy of Lagos, the commercial nerve center of the nation.
Today, we saw the market started a bit sloppy, but towards the end of the market picked up. We saw that in the last couple of days, the Nigerian capital market has shown its resilience. And I think it is more of the fact that people are now beginning to digest the direction of the economy. They are beginning to digest what is actually happening.
As the eased lockdown experiment continues, it is expected that citizens will take responsibility for their safety in the days ahead. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has appealed to those who are not on essential duties and do not fall under the cadre of those that should resume Tuesday to stay in their homes as the war against coronavirus continues. Governor Sanwo-Olu made the emphasis in a statewide broadcast as the partial lockdown takes effect. Nosa Usula reports.
Governor who warned commercial transporters and others serving the public to strictly adhere to the guidelines issued by the state government or risk being prosecuted, said that only civil servants on level 15 and above should resume from Tuesday. He added that affected civil servants on levels 15 and above living in Ogun State should adhere to the order of Ogun State's governor till 9th of May.
Food markets will be open only on Tuesdays, on Thursdays and Saturdays from the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. However, other markets that are selling building materials, spare parts, non-food markets will be open on Mondays, on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Governor Sanwo-Olu disclosed that residents whose vehicles were impounded on or before the 14th of April can from Tuesday go and start collecting their seized vehicles free of charge.
And I'm happy to pass on the 3 telephone numbers that we've set up for whistleblowing, for people to complain if they think that the companies are not keeping to the social distancing or the physical distancing that has been stated, or if buses are not complying, or if markets are not complying. So the numbers are 0901 051 3197, 3198 and 3199.
The governor urged elderly members of the society to remain at home because of their age, which makes them most vulnerable to COVID-19. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
Thank you, Nosa. We have more on the news after this time out. Stay tuned.
Wake up, wake up. Nothing can hold us down. Get up, get up. Born to wear the crown.
Breakfast your day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
A mother's instincts are hardly ever wrong. She knows when all is not well. And she trusts M&B Paracetamol, the red one, to save the day. With fast-acting and effective M&B Paracetamol tablet, the red one, and its pleasant-tasting pineapple flavor syrup, she sends aches and pains far away from her family. M&B Paracetamol. Pain can't stop you. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
Our smiles have never been so uncertain. This weekend that seems to regenerate. We never imagined missing the music of our office printer. That time stopped does not mean our stories have. We are the brave ones that set aside self-interest for a common goal. One day, we will toast to this bravery in our favorite restaurants. Arm in arm, we will sing at every concert and never skip a beat. One day, we will reclaim our streets from the wildings that have borrowed it. Take back our fields from the bush that have rented it. We will discover new places. The grey clouds will roll away, and the sun will shine. Together, we will beat this and rebuild our economy. Till then, hold your position and stay safe.
As you can see, I'm at home. I'm reading a book. When I get bored, I watch movies. Life has not stopped. Together we can beat this thing. All we have to do is make sure we do the necessary things, which is wash our hands, use a hand sanitizer frequently, wash your hands with soap. Please avoid crowded environments, crowded places. If you must head out maybe to get groceries, use the face mask. So please stay safe, stay responsible, and stay at home.
Now believe this corotin. You know, if you touch black man, if you like, gather the whole Niger, come together, make the cough. Nothing.
Which one you want?
Give me V&D.
I beg, get small pieces.
How much you want to give him?
Give me 200. Take your change now. You don't want your changes.
My people, this coronavirus, na serious matter. May una wash una hands regularly. Come use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. If you no see water, wash your hand. Make una sit down for house. You see this virus, so e no get leg. Now we dey waka kurukere. No waka around, make the virus for die. No forget, say the betterment of our people. Now for your handy day.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
Deputy National Women Leader, APC, Ihuama Onyebuchukwu, on behalf of the APC National Women Leader, Hajia Salamato Bewa Umar Eluma, and the entire APC women condoles with President Muhammadu Buhari, his wife, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, and Abba Kyari's family over the demise of the former Chief of Staff, Malam Abba Kyari. May his soul rest in peace. Signed, Ihuama Onyebuchukwu, APC Deputy National Women Leader.
Thank you for staying with us. The Emir of Hadejia and Chairman, Jigawa State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Adamu Abubakar Marje, has added his voice on the need for people of the state and the nation as a whole to take necessary safety measures against coronavirus pandemic, as being told by medical professionals. He stated this during an exclusive interview with correspondent Camila Mohammed at his palace.
Avoid all gatherings, including religious congregations, burials, weddings, and other ceremonies. However, we must make sacrifices for us to be able to overcome this virus. Protect yourself, families, community from COVID-19. Stay at home and stay safe always. Let us continue to pray for God's healing and protection for our dear nation and the world at large. God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was the Emir of Hadejia and Chairman, Jigawa State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Adamu Abubakar Marje. An 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew is imposed by the federal government after easing the total lockdown in the Federal Capital Territory, Lagos and Ogun State. The curfew takes effect from this evening, and joining us live in Lagos is Michael Olale. Hello, Michael. How is the curfew on this first day in Lagos, especially where you are right now?
Hello, Kene. Lagos has been forced to sleep, no thanks to the coronavirus. But some people are still caught in the web of the curfew. A major discussion that has occupied the front burner before today is the possibility of getting most Lagosians off the road before the start of the curfew. This is because an average Lagosian resides more than 41 kilometers from his place of work. Now behind me, the police has actually mounted a roadblock to ensure that vehicles who are caught in the course of the curfew cannot make their way to the other side. But that has not actually stopped the vehicles from coming. A very good example is at the other side of the road. You can have at the other side of the road, we have a lot of vehicles that have been forced to end their journey.
All right, Michael. We can see you and the environment there. We actually understand. But what's the way forward right now? What are the people saying about tomorrow and going forward?
And Kenneth, the actual reality here is that the number of hours between the closing hour and the time for people to get home is significantly small in a place like Lagos. This is because, like I was saying earlier, it takes an average of some Lagosians live more than 41 kilometers from their place of work. And the implication of this is that most of them are always on the road for more than 3 to 4 hours. Now, imagine someone still waiting at the bus stop, waiting to get a vehicle going to Iyanokpaja from this particular place in Iyanoworo. It's a long journey. So the discussion among residents here is that they will need more time to ensure that they navigate their way back to their houses before the commencement of the curfew.
All right, Michael. I'm sure the authorities are looking at those angles right now. Thanks indeed. There will be more reports with Jenny in our Port Harcourt Network Center.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has imposed a 24-hour lockdown on Port Harcourt and Obiakpor local government areas from Thursday, the 7th of May 2020. The governor, who announced all stringent measures to flatten the curve of COVID-19, also says the use of face mask is now compulsory till further notice. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
The total lockdown in these two local government areas became necessary because of the recalcitrant behavior of the residents of these areas and adhering strictly to the precautionary measures adopted to check the spread of COVID-19.
On no account should there be any vehicular movement or gathering of more than 2 persons in these local government areas except those on essential services who must be appropriately authorized.
The governor also said that all hotels, guest houses and beer parlors must remain closed. He said all hoteliers must provide the task force on COVID-19 with a manifest of those already lodged in their hotels before the coming into effect of the directive on Thursday, 7th May 2020. The request for waivers by oil and gas workers would be considered on a case-by-case basis and the individuals must be tested. Operations of all private motor parks, overloading of all commercial vehicles is prohibited. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekwere, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Kene, it's back to you.
Thank you, Jenny. Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says the Federal Republic of Nigeria on Monday, 4th May 2020, confirmed the receipt of approximately $311,797,866.11 of the Abuja assets repatriated from the United States and the Bailiwick of Jersey. A statement by the Assistant on Media and Public Relations Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Dr. Umaru Jibrilu Gwandu, indicates that the amount increased significantly from over $308 million mentioned in the press release issued in February 2020 to over $311 million because of the interest that accrued from 3rd February 2020 to 28th April 2020 when where the fund was transferred to the Central Bank of Nigeria. He noted that the litigation process for the return of these assets, titled Abuja 3, commenced in 2014, while the diplomatic process that culminated into the signing of the asset return agreement on 30 February 2020 by the governments of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, United States of America, and the Bailiwick of Jersey commenced in 2018. The recovery effort, the statement says, further consolidates on the established record of the federal government, which has a history of recovery of $322 million from Switzerland in 2018, which has been transparently and judiciously deployed in supporting the indigent Nigerians as specified in the agreement signed with the Switzerland and the World Bank. The Attorney General of the Federation and the Ministry of Justice, who led the negotiation team, noted that the tripartite agreement and the process towards the implementation represents a major watershed in international asset recovery and repatriation, as it seeks to provide benefit to the victims of corruption. Malami said the government of Nigeria has committed that the assets will support and assist in expediting the construction of 3 major infrastructure projects across Nigeria, namely the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja Kano Road, and the Second Niger Bridge. He said the Federal Republic of Nigeria is in the process of establishing a project monitoring team to oversee the implementation of the project and report regularly on progress made to the public. Now, as Nigeria grapples with the enormous effects of coronavirus pandemic, education, which is said to be the foundation of all human development, is among the sectors most threatened. To this end, some state governments are exploring creative ways to minimize the effects of the lockdown on education. Zinrate Dingmon tells us more about the online education put in place in Plateau State to keep the students busy on lockdown.
Education or learning is taking a new dimension as schools, among other public places, remain shut down due to the coronavirus pandemic. With the lockdown in place, life seems more difficult, hence the need to bridge the gap, especially in education. While parents are being encouraged to take up the challenge of putting children through at home, Plateau State government has created an avenue where students can either learn through electronic media or through step-down comprehensible materials for independent learning, especially in rural areas.
To us, in the Ministry of Education, it's a palliative, because there's nothing we can give our students except what we have.
Although it may sound challenging, instructional online or broadcast learning has its perks, which does not take up the place of conventional learning, but serves as a way of keeping the candle burning. The coronavirus pandemic may have
Let's now talk security. Troops of the Operation Lafia Dole, under a subsidiary operation codenamed Kantana Jimlan, have eliminated 134 Boko Haram and ISWAP members in Timbuktu Triangle and Damboa, Borno State. A statement by the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, indicates that 16 high-profile terrorists were also apprehended in the ongoing onslaught preparatory to the conclusive phase of Operation Lafia Dole. Major General Enenche knows that 7 gun trucks and other animations were seized during the encounter that was coordinated by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuri Buratai, who is the theater who has been at the theater for the past 5 weeks. We now take another break. The news continues after this timeout.
COVID-19. Ease of the lockdown. This is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. What are the public issues involved and measures in place to curtail the spread of the virus? Tune in at 10:30 p.m. for NTA Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
Go TV day your side as times dey tough so. We don't
don't see your loyalty and we appreciate the journey where we don't work out together. That now why GoTV they summer you with better upgrade to the next package as you stay connected or reconnect. We dey your side with correct entertainment. You fit save up to 75% because now we not to stay connected or reconnect. GoTV go upgrade you at no extra cost. Wow! Stay connected with GoTV self-service payment options. Visit GoTVAfrica.com to gather more information about this better discount and our payment options. GoTV dey your side. Enjoy GoTV wow awoof. GoTV. Live it. Love it.
In this time of despair, our country, Nigeria, needs us now more than ever. We stand a chance to save our great country, Nigeria. A chance to rise up from this pandemic stronger and better. What will be the gain if we do not learn from other countries and observe the lockdown to stop the further spread of the virus? If we loosen our guards and allow this virus doom our very existence, then what have we gained? This is the call to every Nigerian to unite as one and stop the spread of this deadly virus. Stay at home and stay safe. Remember, the virus doesn't move unless we move.
This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
I just don't understand this coronavirus thing. Is it real?
See, coronavirus, known as COVID-19, it's a global problem and has killed thousands of people in China, Italy, Spain, UK, US, and other countries around the world.
Okay. Now, why are they saying that we should stay home?
Because if you go outside and get in contact with someone who is infected, you become infected and then come back home, affect your family. That's how it happens in other countries.
Now, please, help me explain what this social distance is all about.
See, as we are now, the virus travels through the air and by touch. We must maintain 6-foot distance at all times.
Oh, so it's not by washing my hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer that is only important?
Washing of our hands regularly is very important. But we must come together and fight this virus like we did Ebola. It is our responsibility to each other.
Welcome back. President Hassan Rouhani of the Islamic Republic of Iran has condoled with President Buhari over the demise of his chief of staff, Malam Abba Kyari. The Iranian president advised that defeating the coronavirus requires the determination and cooperation of all members of the international community and the elimination of all kinds of discrimination. He prayed for the good health of the Nigerian leader and the family of the deceased. In the same vein, President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with President Mahamudu Isufu of Niger Republic over the death of his Minister of Employment and Labour, Mohamed Ben Omar. The president spoke to the Nigerian leader, describing the late cabinet minister as a highly endowed and dedicated politician who gave his best for the progress, prosperity and socio-economic development of his country. Similarly, President Buhari condoled with government and people of Zamfara State on the death of Emir of Kaura Namoda, Alhaji Ahmad Muhammad Ashar. The president expressed the belief that the virtues of honesty and generosity sold by the late Emir will always be remembered. The death has also occurred in Bauchi of Alhaji Bello Shehu Ilela, one-time Bauchi State head of the civil service, INEC resident commissioner and secretary to the Bauchi State government and alumnus of the National Institute. The deceased was born in Bauchi and is survived by 2 wives and 9 children. He has been buried in Bauchi. The death has been announced of Mrs. Sarah Ihunda Opera, mother of the former Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Austin Opera. Chief Mourner Samuel Opera says she died on the 28th of April 2020 at the age of 96. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has sympathized with Honorable Austin Opera on the death of his mother. He urged the former Deputy Speaker to take solace in the quality of life Mama lived and the accomplished family she raised. He urged the children to keep her memory aglow by maintaining the virtues of piety, community spiritedness, and industry for which she was known. Let's now take a quick look at tomorrow's weather. And that's NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks to you for watching. My name is Kano Ima Abodike. Do have a good night. Bye-bye.